Storm clouds gather over Europe. Mistrust and rivalries between realms threaten to break and flood the world in a tide of total war.
What is up, you guys? Guitar Player 112 here once again, and welcome to my new Let's Play for Medieval 2 Total War. I know I did a Let's Play for Medieval 2 in one of the expansion packs, the Teutonic expansion, but sadly I actually cancelled my Let's Play, so I do apologize for anyone who's watching that. But if any of you remember what happened, what I said in the other Let's Play, that I accidentally messed around with the game's files to the point where it couldn't even play anymore. It won't even play a campaign or anything like that. But the good news is that I uninstalled and reinstalled the game again, and it started working fine after that. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to start a Let's Play for Medieval 2 Total War, and like in the first video of the other of my cancelled Let's Play, I'm gonna have a faction vote. So here are all the factions in the game. First, start off with England, who start off with only 3 regions under their control. Strengths are they have they boast superb longbowmen and strong infantry, but they field a poor variety of cavalry. They're pretty good. They're a pretty good faction to play as. They're pretty good balance between infantry and archers. Longbowmen are pretty good, as long as with their infantry are pretty good. Next faction is France. Start off right here. From what looks like 5 regions under their control. They field the best heavy cavalry in the west and good infantry in the late period, but they have weak infantry in the early periods of the game. But it'll be worth it though. I mean, they have really good infantry in the late period, trust me. So overall, pretty good faction, especially have good cavalry in the early period and better infantry in the later periods. The next faction is the Holy Roman Empire, who start right in the middle of Europe. I think they start off with the most amount of territory under their control, I think. Yeah, 6 territories under their control. But they are completely surrounded by enemies. Strengths are the strong all around, lacks late period professional armies of England and France. And like I just said, they completely surrounded by enemies. So they're a pretty decent faction overall, you know. So next faction in the game is Spain. They start off with only 2 regions under their control right here. Strengths are excellent naval units, light infantry, and cavalry. But they lack heavy infantry and spears in the early period. And cool unit, the Conquistadors. I do like Spain. I do like their light infantry and cavalry, as long as they're naval units. Yeah, just that heavy infantry and lack of spears in the early period is the only thing I don't like about them. So the next section of factions, these next 3 are all Italian factions, and they have all the similar strengths and weaknesses. First of the Italian factions is Venice, who start off with only 3 regions under their control. Strengths are they have strong militia, infantry, and colonial units and late technology, but somewhat poor cavalry. And this is a cool unit that they have right here, the Venetian heavy infantry. Very awesome unit. Pretty much all the Italian factions in the game have strong militia. Italian militia and Italian spear militia, I believe is what they're called. All of which are pretty good, and all these Italian factions can get them. So the next Italian faction is Sicily. We start off with, I can't remember if it was 2 regions or 3 regions under their control, but it looks like 2 on the map. And just like the other factions, they can field strong militia, but they also have Norman knights and Muslim archers. But they lack good late period cavalry. Yeah, the Italian factions don't have good cavalry at all. Yeah, if you want to go for a cavalry heavy faction, go for the other ones. Next is Milan, another Italian faction. Both strong militia infantry, crossbowmen, and late technology, but poor offensive cavalry as usual. Basically, they have all the strengths and weaknesses from the other 2 Italian factions, as in good militia, but they also have the best crossbowman unit in the game. The Milan crossbowmen, geez, let me tell you, they're awesome. Yeah, so that's Milan for you. Next up is Scotland. You start off with only 1 region right here, right to the north of England. Start off in a pretty isolated position. Scotland, their strengths are, makes excellent use of spears and pikes, but they are lacking in cavalry. Nobles often prefer to fight on foot. So yeah, that's Scotland for you. They do have pretty good spear and pikeman units, along with a good balance of other infantry other than spears and pikes. But like they said, they're lacking in cavalry. So the next faction is the Byzantine Empire. At first I pronounced it the Byzantine Empire, but then I figured I was pronounced Byzantine. So they start off with 1, 2, 3, I think 5 regions under their control. Right here, right next to the Turks. Strengths are good heavy cavalry, missile cavalry, and capable archers, but they lack late period gunpowder units, which is terrible because gunpowder becomes a really good weapon late in the game. So that's the only thing I don't like about the Byzantine Empire, is that they don't have any good gunpowder units whatsoever compared to the other factions. Next up is Russia, who start off right here with only 1 region under their control, with plenty of rebel settlements around up for grabs. Strengths are, they have a great mix of missile and melee cavalry, but they have poor early infantry and missile units. I don't really like Russia in this game for some reason. I just don't. So I won't really like playing as them that much. But next faction are the Moors, who start off in both southern Spain and northern Africa. Strengths are, can field a good mix of light cavalry and infantry and effective spears, but they lack strong late period units, which is one thing I don't like about the Moors. The Moors are probably the only Islam faction in the game that I actually like, because I don't like any of the other ones for some reason. But this one unit right here, the Camel Gunners, are freaking awesome. I love the Camel Gunners. So anyway, they start off in a pretty good position, but you do have to worry about Spain and Portugal. So that's the Moors. Next up are the Turks, who start off right here, right next to the Byzantine Empire. Strengths are outstanding mounted archers and janissary troops, but are lacking in heavy armor and early period infantry. The unit is their janissary heavy infantry. So yeah, that's the Turks. And like I said, I don't really like any of the Muslim factions in this game, except for the Moors. They're awesome. So next up is Egypt, who start off right here. Relies on powerful cavalry, particularly the Mamluks, which is this unit right here, but they lack heavy infantry, particularly in the late period. So yeah, that's Egypt for you. And next up is my favorite faction in the game, Denmark, who start off with only 1 region right here. It's the only thing I don't like about Denmark. They only start off with 1 region. But they have a good all-around mix of units, with the infantry preferring to wield swords or axes instead of spears, which is a hilarious strength, but a good strength. But they lack good heavy cavalry. So yeah, I absolutely love Denmark in this game. They have a good balance of infantry, along with decent archers and mediocre cavalry at best. Anyway, I love Denmark. They're awesome. And I'm going to start with one region, which is the only thing I don't like about them. So next up is Portugal, who start off right. They start off with two regions right in between Spain's regions. I don't know why I went with that. But yeah, they're really similar to Spain, believe it or not. They have similar strengths, excellent light infantry, naval units, and good light cavalry. But they lack professional armies. And next up is Poland, who start off right here. It's only two regions, only a couple regions south from Russia. It makes use of very strong cavalry, but somewhat mediocre infantry. So yeah, that's Portugal. But why did I say Portugal? Poland. And finally, the last faction in the game is Hungary, who start off right to the south of Poland, and they're pretty similar. Boasts a strong mix of heavy knights and skilled horse archers, but lacks good offensive infantry. So yeah, those are all the factions in the game, and like I said, this is a faction vote video, so make sure to leave what factions you guys want me to play as in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.